Which other soap opera set in Texas?
Pass.
Dallas. Wendy. In biology, the medicinal leech feeds primarily on which bodily fluid?
I don't know, sorry.
Blood. Ruin. In pop music, A Groovy Kind of Love, Two Hearts and I Missed Again were UK hit singles in the 1980s for which singer?
Blondie.
Phil Collins. Going very well. Anya, in ornithology, a breeding colony of penguins is known as a what? Battery or rookery?
A battery.
A rookery. Tony, in children's fiction, the best-selling books by Meg Cabot about a young royal are collectively entitled The What Diaries?
Pass on.
Princess. Andy, in science, the substance known as dry ice that's used to produce smoke effects in theatre and film is a solid form of which gas?
Hydrogen.
Carbon dioxide. Terry, in finance, if you decide to get out of a business venture that shows no sign of making a profit, you are said to cut your what?
Losses.
Correct, Leighton.
Bank.
In costume, which item of dress traditionally worn by Sikh men consists of a long piece of fabric wrapped around the head?
Turban.
Correct, Gary. In geometry, what A is the term for the space measured in degrees between any two straight lines that meet at a point?
Light years.
Angle. Wendy. In expressions, a slang term meaning exhausted that is derived from a type of crisp, unsweetened biscuit is cream what?
Crackered.
Correct, Ruin. In UK employment, on a pay slip or other calculation of salary, the abbreviation NI stands for the name of which deduction?
National insurance.
Correct. Anya.
Bank.
In entertainment, the impresario and TV presenter who is credited with... Time's up, you won £270. Who's playing a game of hide the talent? Who hopes they'll do better if the show is repeated? Time to vote on the weakest link.
With the most correct answers, Terry is the strongest link. Statistically, Gary is the weakest link. But can he survive the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Gary.
Gary.
Gary. Leighton.
Gary.
Leighton.
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 We have another tie team. Gary and Leighton. 4 votes each. What do you do, Ruin?
I work for a Member of Parliament.
And who do you work for?
Sir Alan Hazelhurst.
And why has he got a knighthood?
He was Deputy Speaker of the House of Commons for 13 years, which is the longest that anyone's ever done the job.
Oh, he's a real old-bore then.
No, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Yes, so what are you busy with?
Well, all sorts, really. Just, improving the lives of the people of Saffron Walden in whatever way I can.
And where's your girlfriend, in London or in Saffron Walden?
I don't actually have a girlfriend.
Have you ever had a girlfriend?
No, actually, no.
Really?
I'm only young. I'm starting out in life.
How young are you?
19.
19 and you've never had a girlfriend. Is it your mother who won't let you go out with girls?
No, it's my limitations as a man, clearly.
Oh, what limitations are those?
I don't know.
Why Leighton?
He banked on £20, which I thought was fairly scandalous, and he got 1 or 2 questions wrong.
What do you do, Andy?
I volunteer at farms.
So, what does the job involve?
I'll pick lines, build paths, build fences, cook, look after children.
Is it well paid?
No, it's volunteer, so that means free.
Where'd you pick the lines?
I was picking lines in Central America.
Were you? So you're taking jobs off local people?
If they wanted to do it for free, they could do, but...
Why Gary?
Gary got a couple of questions wrong, and I didn't think he did too well.
When the vote's tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. And the strongest link was Terry. What do you do?
I'm a retired...
So nothing?
Nothing. A retired administrator.
And do you give anything back to the community?
I think I've given a lot to the community
Like
up to
what?
now. I've worked since I was 15.
Yeah, you could give those earrings to the community, couldn't you?
Oh no, they were given to me. Oh, don't be rotten.
Have you any talents?
I normally do karaoke
Of
badly.
course you do. Put
Badly.
your board down.
Oh,
What are you going to sing for us?
I'm not.
You are.
I'll do Summertime.
Is that all your own teeth?
Oh yeah.
Even the gold one?
Oh, that gold one's a beaut. That's my crowning glory. Pardon the pun. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is right.
Well, that's not bad. Put your board up.
Oh, cute. Was that a compliment?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you voted for Gary. Why was that?
Gary got 2 wrong.
You're going to stick with Gary or move to Leighton?
I'll stick with my original.
Gary! You are the weak link. Fine.
I think if I was on a little bit longer in the show, Anne would have picked up on the hair. It's not my normal colour. It's not my natural colour, believe it or not. It's normally a little bit darker red, but I had it done especially for Anne, uniting the redheads.
Round 3 in the bank, £1,220. Another 10 seconds off the time. We'll start the strongest link from the last round. That's Terry. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Terry, in the animal kingdom, what sea is a large aquatic reptile similar to an alligator, species of which are found in the wild in the warm regions of most continents?
Crocodile.
Correct, Leighton. In literature, the English author born in 1775, whose novels include Sense and Sensibility, Emma and Persuasion, was Jane who?
Austen.
Correct, Wendy. In sport, the PGA is one of the governing bodies for professional players of which game?
Golf.
Correct, Ruin. In natural landscapes, a tundra is an area near the North Pole that's characterised by an absence of what? Trees or moss?
Trees.
Correct, Anya. In cinema, the insects that featured in the 1978 disaster film starring Michael Caine entitled The Swarm were African killer what?
Locusts.
Bees. Tony. In definitions, which 2-word term means both to inflate a balloon and to enlarge a photograph?
Blow up.
Correct. Andy. In pop music, the 2011 UK hit single entitled Rolling in the Deep was by which British singer normally known by only her first name?
Adele.
Correct, Terry. In astronomy, what P is the name given to any of the 8 distinct stages of the moon as it changes from new to full and back again?
P, did you say? I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
In astronomy, what P is the name given to any of the 8 distinct stages of the moon as it changes from new to full and back again?
Don't know.
Phase. Leighton. In TV, the actor who in the various series of Blackadder played 2 characters named Prince George and Lieutenant George is called Hugh what?
Laurie.
Correct, Wendy. In maths, what is 80 multiplied by 5?
Can you repeat that?
Sorry. In maths, what is 80 multiplied by 5?
400.
Correct, Rowan. In football in 2011, which Swiss-born sports administrator was elected president of FIFA for a 4th successive term?
Sepp Blatter.
Correct, Anya.
Bang.
In language, the name of which ballroom dance is derived from a German word meaning to revolve?
Walzer.
The waltz. Tony. In architecture, the Doge's Palace, completed during the Renaissance, stands on the waterfront of which Italian city?
Rome.
Venice. Andy. At a ski resort, the gentle inclines set aside for beginners are designated as what? Nursery slopes or black rungs?
Nursery slope.
Correct,
Bang.
Terry. In education, a course involving alternate periods of... Time's up, you won £120. But who has a credibility gap between their ears? Who's the frog on the freeway? Time to vote on the weakest link.
As the only player to get all their answers wrong, Anya is the weakest link. Statistically, Rowan is the strongest link. But will the team notice that?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Anya.
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 Terry.
Leighton.
Terry.
What do you do, Wendy?
I'm a postal officer.
Are you? What does that mean?
It means I work behind the counter, behind the piece of glass in the post office.
Where's the post office?
Abbey Wood,
Where's
South
that?
East London,
Yeah. Is that
in
the
a little village.
Oh, there's a village in South East London, is there?
Well, we call it the village. It's a little village, yeah.
And what sort of people come in?
Lovely people.
Do they?
And horrible people.
Yeah, what are the horrible people?
They're normally the younger person who are horrible.
Yeah, they're picking up their benefits.
They are, yeah.
Yes.
I
And
shouldn't say that, should I?
yes. And do you sometimes say to them, why don't you go and get a job?
No, I'm not allowed to say that.
Aren't you?
No.
Could you hang up a notice that said that?
No, I wish I could.
There's a rule, is there?
There is, yeah. You
What
can't-
other rules are there? What else can't you say?
Well, you can't be derogatory about anybody, can you, you know?
Would I suit Abbey Wood?
No, I don't think so, Anne.
Why's that?
Oh, I don't think it's upmarket enough for you.
And why Anya?
She got two wrong, I'm afraid.
Leighton. Why Anya?
I believe she was the weakest link in that round.
She was. Anya! You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
The reason for trying to get onto the weakest link was that Rob, my fiance, actually egged me on saying, you should apply, wouldn't that be cool to be on that TV show? And actually it's a very, very cool TV show.
Round 4 in the bank, £1,340. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start the strongest link from the last round. That's Little Ruin. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Ruin in film in a 1996 comedy drama about a sports agent. The title character played by Tom Cruise is called Jerry what?
Jerry Hawk.
Maguire. Tony, in spelling, the word rain, referring to wet weather, is an anagram of the English name of which Middle Eastern country?
Pass on.
Iran. Andy, in TV, at the end of each episode of which series first broadcast in the 1950s was the subject of the show presented with the so-called Big Red Book?
Pass.
This Is Your Life. Terry, in music, the name of which brass instrument is also that of a pointed projection growing on the head of an animal such as a cow or goat?
Horn.
Correct, Leighton. In Christianity, what is the name of the island off the coast of Northumberland where the Irish missionaries St Aidan founded a 7th century monastery?
Pass.
Lindisfarne. Wendy, in cookery, which amphibian features in the name of a traditional British dish comprising sausages baked in a Yorkshire pudding batter?
Toad.
Correct, Ruin. In history, the Native American chief whose name was adopted by a Paris nightclub famous for its adult entertainment was called Crazy what?
Crazy Horse.
Correct, Tony.
Bank.
In transport in the UK, new cars have front number plates with black letters and digits on a background of which colour?
White.
Correct. Andy, in foreign media, the newspaper titles Die Welt, Le Monde and El Mundo all translate into English as the what?
The World.
Correct, Terry. In politics, the 1998 investigation into the conduct of President Clinton that led to his impeachment was called what? The Freddie File or the Starr Report?
The Star Report.
Correct, Leighton.
Bank.
In the periodic table, Pb is the chemical symbol for which heavy metallic element?
Lead.
Correct, Wendy. According to the children's nursery rhyme, which character was frightened by a spider while eating her curds and whey?
Little Miss Muffet.
Correct, Ruin. In maths, what is 37 plus 25?
62.
Correct, Tony.
Bank.
In sport, the popular chant of the fans of the wrestler Big Daddy was the repetition of which four-letter word meaning not difficult?
Easy.
Correct. Andy.
Bank.
Time's up. You won £270, but actually you had a chain of 9 correct answers. So who's stunting your capital growth? Who's an acquired bad taste? Time to vote off the weakest link.
According to the statistics, Terry is the strongest link. Andy is the weakest link. But will the other players consider that when casting their votes?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Tony.
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 Leighton.
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 Another tie team. Tony and Leighton, 3 votes each. What do you do, Tony?
I'm a business development manager, Anne.
That's a bit of a dull job for someone as hip as you.
Thank you for saying I'm hip at 60.
Yeah. Are you the Johnny Depp of business development?
No. More the David Cameron, I think.
Why Leighton?
Unfortunately, Leighton's had a few bad rounds and questions wrong in most of them, and he's been fairly lucky not to go in previous rounds.
Leighton. Why Tony?
I believed he was the weakest link in that round.
Well, the strongest link was Terry, not for the first time. Why have you voted for Tony?
I thought he was the weakest link in this round.
Right. Do you want to stick with Tony or move to Leighton?
I'll stick with my original.
Tony! You're the weakest link.
Coming face to face with Anne is something I've always wanted to do. I can put a tick in the box. She is one heck of a lady.
Round 5, your total is £1,610. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start the strongest link from the last round. That's Terry. Let's play the weakest link. Start clock. Terry, in nature, what J is the name of a tropical plant cultivated for its strong fibre that is traditionally used to make sackcloth?
Jute.
I'll accept. Leighton. In pop music, the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls, who had a solo UK #1 single with Don't Hold Your Breath in 2011, is Nicole who?
Scherzinger.
Correct. Wendy. In geography, the route north was the original literal sense of the English name of which European country?
Scotland.
Norway. Ruin. In entertainment awards, BAFTA winners are presented with a moulded sculpture in the shape of what? A television aerial or a theatrical mask?
A theatrical mask.
Correct. Andy, in religion, the Sunni comprise the largest group of followers of which faith?
Islam.
Correct. Terry. In food, a biscuit often served in Chinese restaurants that contains a piece of paper bearing a prediction is usually known by what 2-word name?
Fortune cookie.
Correct. Leighton.
Bank.
In modern culture, the terms Big Brother and Room 101 both derive from a novel written by an author with the pen name George what?
Pass.
Orwell. Wendy. In children's comics, what B was the title of a publication for girls that began in the 1950s and featured characters called the Four Marys?
Viz.
Bunty. Ruin. In domestic pets, the breed of dog called the West Highland White Terrier is commonly known by what 6-letter nickname?
Westy.
Correct. Andy. In sea travel, a unit of speed called the knot is equal to 1 nautical mile per what?
Hour.
Correct. Terry. In the home, Pembroke, drop leaf and trestle are all varieties of which item of furniture?
Table.
Correct. Leighton. In sport, what A was the name of the racehorse that from 1964 to 1966 won the Cheltenham Gold Cup 3 years in succession?
Pass.
Arkle. Wendy. In reggae music, the UK #1 singles entitled Red Red Wine and I Can't Help Falling in Love with You were by which group?
UB40.
Correct. Ruin. In literature, the 19th century poet who was a Catholic priest and whose works mostly concerned religion and nature was Gerard Manley who?
Holmes.
Hopkins. Andy. Time's up. You won £100. Who thinks a job with prospects is the name of a pub? Who's obviously thicker than a printer instruction manual? Time to vote off. The weakest link.
For the second round in a row, Terry is the strongest link. The statistics show that Wendy is the weakest link. But who will lose out in the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Leighton.
Leighton.
Ruin.
Leighton.
Leighton.
Andy, why Leighton?
He's had a few bad rounds now, and I think it's time he departed.
Rowan, why Leighton?
Again, much the same reason. I think he banked.
Have your own reasons.
Well, I think he had bad rounds. He banked too early once, I think.
Leighton, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think everyone's going to have a good time watching me on the weakest link, as I lasted through luck in most rounds and made it through 3 tie breaks.
Round 6. You've won £1,710. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Terry. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Terry, in trade, the city of Fray Bentos in Uruguay is noted for the export of which foodstuff? Tinned meat or pot noodles?
Tinned meat.
Correct. Wendy. In the NHS, if a patient is not satisfied with the advice of a doctor and seeks an alternative view, it's usually known as getting a second what?
Opinion.
Correct. Ruin. In African geography from 1971 to 1997, the country that's now called the Democratic Republic of Congo had what official name?
People's Republic of Congo.
Zaire. Andy. In TV, the game show that began in 2011, whose rhyming title refers to a large robotic version of a wild British mammal, is called Don't Scare the What?
Parents?
Hare. Terry. In singing, which 5-letter word goes before boy or girl to give terms for young choristers?
Choir.
Correct. Wendy. In maths, what is the cube root of 64?
I haven't got a clue.
4. Ruin. In astronomy, the invisible material that is thought to make up more than 90% of the universe is known as dark what?
Dark wool.
Dark matter. Andy. In Scotland, the city of Aberdeen is situated mainly between the mouths of 2 rivers called the Don and the what?
King Arthur.
D. Terry. In headgear, a fur cap with a raccoon tail hanging down the back is named after the American frontiersman Davy who?
Crockett.
Correct. Wendy.
Bank.
In British heritage, a stately home built in the 18th century near Harrogate has what name? Downton Abbey or Harwood House?
Old house.
Correct. Ruin. In cinema, which 2011 film directed by Kenneth Branagh starred Chris Hemsworth in the title role as a Norse god who comes to live on Earth?
King of Emperors.
Thor. Andy. In the kitchen, which common small cooking apparatus often has a spring-loaded tray and variable slot adjustments?
Toaster?
Correct. Terry.
Bank.
In librarianship, a familiar decimal system of classifying books according to subject. Time's up. You only won £40. So, is Wendy's performance second class? Or maybe Terry's short for terrible? Time to vote off the weakest link.
With no correct answers, Ruin is the weakest link. Statistically, Terry is the strongest link. But will the votes pick up on the facts?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Ruin?
Ruin.
Ruin.
Andy.
Terry, why young Ruin?
I thought he had a particularly bad round that time. I thought he was the weakest link.
You're very quick on the sums, aren't you, Wendy?
Yes, well, I'm a postal officer.
Do you have a calculator?
No, I don't have a calculator. I have pen and paper.
Yes, there must be a long line waiting.
No, I'm very quick. It's because I'm here and you're making me nervous, maybe. That's what it is.
Why Ruin?
Oh, he's well sweet, but he's the weakest. I'm sorry.
He was the worst player. He didn't answer a single question correctly. Ruin! You are the weakest link. Bye.
I think that Anne would be a fantastic MP. She can clearly put her case forward very strongly. In debates, she would be quite amazing to watch. I'm sure she could take down any member at ease.